What is up, you guys? It is Yo Girl Camille, and welcome to the first official podcast for Beyond the Game podcast. I am so excited to get this started. There were so many technical difficulties getting into this, but I have been waiting years to get this going, and I mean years. So I was like, you know what? I don't even care. We're going with it. So if the quality is not that good, sorry, I will fix it. It's just the intro video. It's fine. And I'm just excited to get this going. Today, we are going to kind of get into the reason for the name, the reason behind the podcast, my little testimony, and kind of what to expect in this podcast, the next couple of episodes, and specifically next week's episodes. And so, yeah, I'm really excited. I'm a bit of a talker, so I put on my goal list that I was going to keep these 30 minutes, a little bit under, maybe a little bit over, but I like to talk a lot actually. So that's why I, pay for an hour of therapy rather than 30 minutes. But I'm going to try and keep it short and simple. I really want this podcast to be not only inspirational and educational, but also entertaining. And I don't want to be boring, but I also want to make sure that I'm giving you guys value and not just talking my head off. So today and tomorrow, and then next week, and any solo podcast that we do, it's just going to be me. But I get tired of hearing my voice too, so I know that y'all will. And I will be having some guest appearances, and I don't just mean some. The goal of this podcast is to be interviewing athletes so that you can hear from athletes, you can hear their testimony, their experiences, their advice, and all of the above. So it's not just going to be me. Don't worry, this is not a solo podcast. But that's why I'm going to take this episode and next week's episode to kind of give y'all some of my insight, my advice, and kind of the things that I'm walking through currently and have walked through, because you will probably not be hearing from me and my personal experience a lot throughout the rest of the season. And so, yeah, I'm just really excited to get into it. So let's do it. First, let's go through some ground rules of what to expect for this podcast. One, I'm a former athlete. Hi, nice to know you. Nice to meet you. But I kind of been going back and forth of what the vibe I want this podcast to be. We'll kind of get into the inspiration behind it and the history of it, because I have had this idea since 2020, and throughout the years, it's kind of changed a little bit. It's expanded a little bit. And at first I wanted it to be really I know political is not the word for it, but you'll know that I will use words that will make sense to me, but don't mean what they actually mean. So when I first started it, I really wanted to do I wanted to be advocating for athletes. I wanted them to be shutting companies down. And I don't actually mean actually shutting them down, but I really wanted to create a platform where athletes could finally talk about their experiences and talk about what has happened for them and with them, and just all the experiences that do not go told, or are not told, I guess you would say. And so I really wanted that to just be a huge platform. So that would be a very serious platform. And then it kind of went into more of I really wanted to do a Call Her Daddy type vibe, or a Skinny Confidential type vibe. Those are the two podcasts that I really love. But I also really love Maddie Pruitt's I guess, her Stay True podcast. So I've had a lot of inspirations, and I kind of realized that I just wanted to be you and I are having a drink together, because that's currently what's happening. But I want it to be very lighthearted, inspirational. I want it to be you're coming to your big sister and we're just having a talk, or maybe your best friend, or whatever it is. I like to say that I am, Christian with a sailor's mouth. I will be throwing some biblical things in here, because I would not be here if it was not for God. God has put this on my heart for the last so many years, and it wasn't until recently that he finally was freaking get up, get your stuff together, and start this, because I am tired of waiting on you. And so that's why I'm here right now this week, which we'll get into that a little bit, because there's actually a little bit more of a meaning into that. But Yeah, so, we'll throw in some of that stuff because you have to, obviously. And secondly, I want it to seem though like you're coming to me for advice, or you're coming to me be like, "Hey, this is what I'm going through. What the heck did I do?" Or like, also, am I not alone? Because that's another reason for this podcast is I want you to know that you are not alone, because we're going to get into some serious shit of what can happen in athletics. I have a background in professional cheer and dance and collegiate cheer and dance. And so obviously we're going to kind of get into that and the stuff that really goes unsaid. But I guess we're going to kind of get into the inspiration behind it. We're moving into that right now. Of I have a background in cheer and dance, okay? And the reason why I have this called Beyond the Game, which I felt like I was maybe going to get some backlash for that, because or I guess people making fun of me, because I never played sports growing up. Like, I literally was never in sports. I ran track for a couple of years, but other than that, I was a cheerleader and a dancer, like on and off the field. That's all I did. And so I never really felt like I really had that sports component. I did have the athletic component, but not sports. And so for a while, when I first got this inspiration, I wanted to call it like something that had to do that was showing that we're more than boobs. We're more than spandex. We're more than fluffing the hair up, putting some makeup on, getting the girls all ready and being like, "Hi, I know how to move and I represent my organization." We're more than that. And so I wanted to kind of go into like, I had this saying of like executive athletes, because for the last couple seasons and even my first year of professional dance, I had a business. I was traveling like all over Texas and actually the US choreographing. Like my choreography, my coaching has literally been seen nationwide on like all floors. And I was just represented as I was just good for dancing. That's all you're good for. That's all you can do. That's all we want you for. You're just known to this one organization, and that's all you're good for. And I really had a hard time because I ended up getting even my backs turned on me from my own team, who I was like, "Hey, I have this business. I'm going out to LA. I'm like working with high-end people. I would love, for you to bring you guys in." And it was kind of just like, "Oh, you're trying to overstep us?" No. And I got a lot of that response from coworkers, from executives, from boys, from like you name it. And I realized all they see me as is some girl that's on that bikini poster. Like, that's all they see me as. They don't realize I'm in school. I have a 4.0. I have my own business. I have 3 jobs while I'm doing this unpaid professional dancing. And so I was like, I want people to know that we actually are really successful. Take the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, for example. They all have a job. It is required of them to have a job. And I say them because everyone knows, oh, yeah, they have to go through this full process because they obviously have a show about it. They also have a job. Most of them are business owners. Most of them have 2 to 3 jobs. Most of them also are represented on national floors, but that is never seen of them. All you see them as is like America's sweethearts. There's so much more than that, but yet they don't get to show that unless you follow them on Instagram. But even then, when I go look at their Instagram, all I see is just them without the uniform. I feel like there's not enough being shown of who they really are. Who are they as an actual person? Who are they as an actual individual? Who are they as a businesswoman? Because all of them are businesswomen. They just don't get the platform to say it. So that's where I really was inspired, because I was surrounded around a lot of women. Myself was seeing all these people just being seen for the uniform they are wearing. And I decided I'm going to make a podcast about that. And I started kind of sharing it on Snapchat and just kind of with some close friends. And the amount of feedback that I got from athletes was insane, because I was like, hold on, I thought only cheerleaders and dancers were being underappreciated and undervalued and underseen. I guess that's the right word. And I had all these athletes, male, female, basketball players, baseball players, volleyball players, like so many people be like, I want on there. let me speak my truth. Like, and then telling me the things that they experienced that I was like, holy shit, someone needs to start speaking, because what is going on here? Why is no one aware of this? Because as athletes, that's all we're seen as, is the star of the show, and that's all you get to represent on and off the field. So that was my inspiration as to behind it. But it kind of started changing as I was going through different things and, going through my different seasons, and kind of turn it around back to here. I have been inspired. One thing that we will talk about is kind of the toxicity within the industry, because that will be a whole nother episode. But whenever I, kind of started speaking out that I wanted to start this podcast, which of course, full intention of never like bashing the organization that I was part of or any organization that I want to be a part of. I'm not stupid. Like, I have been training for NFL. I have been studying NFL. I have been studying the Dallas Cowboys and the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders since I was in 7th grade. I have been training for NFL since I was in 7th grade. I was the girl that was at cheer practice in the morning after school, and I would come home and I would train myself for 4 hours in my room, ask my parents on the Bible, because I knew I wanted to do it and I did not have the resources where I was at. So I trained myself. I'm a fully self-trained dancer. Wouldn't say cheerleader, but I also never took cheer classes. I think I took a couple tumbling classes. I was not trained either. I learned as I was on the team, as most people do as well. I never had any outside work or anything like that. I had my dad spotting me outside in the grass or like my best friends or something like that. But I am completely self-trained. I joined, my first dance team to ever be on was a professional team. So I have been training both on the book side and the business side of things, but also in the dance side ever since I was in 7th grade. I know that my Instagram is a portfolio. I know that what I speak before and after is also a portfolio. I also know that the Dallas Cowboys are known for bringing up some things that you have said or some things that you have posted out onto the world when you're in your finals interview. I know that. So I obviously know that I will never put my life or my job, and when I say life, is because I actually got threatened by an organization that I was a part of when I said I wanted to do a podcast. Granted, I never said it to them. I said it just like by my team. Like, hey, I really want to do this. I want to interview people. I want to get the word out. I want to be an advocate. Never said anything about talking bad. Never said that. I just said I want to allow people to talk about their truth and give a platform so that we can educate other people so that they know and that they're aware when they join. And I was threatened that if I were to even speak of the organization, that I may be sued. I literally a 19-year-old. I'm like, are you hiding something? Because I was never going to say anything bad about this organization, let alone really talk about it. I was going to talk about obviously being a dancer and the life that means. I was going to speak my truth, but are you really that threatened by a 19-year-old who wants to start a little podcast that your company's going to go down? Maybe you should look into that a little bit more, because I don't think that you should be bringing the president in to practice to threaten the whole entire group and look specifically at me and say, if you make a podcast, I will have to take legal action. Okay, cool. Anyways, so I, went through that, scared for my life, and now we're back here. And I, about a year ago, felt really inspired because I took a year off of professional dance and I tried out again the next year. I tried out for an NBA team. I went ahead and did something a little bit different, made the NBA team. And this season on this team inspired me so much. I was like, holy crap, you're telling me that we can be professional dancers and actually enjoy our life. You're telling me I can be a part of a team and there's not toxicity all around. You're telling me that I can be a part of a team and actually be taken care of and actually take care of myself too. Literally, I just had a completely new perspective. I felt so inspired. And through that, I realized, because one of my choreographers also had been in the NFL realm, so she kind of knew also the toxicity that I went through. And I realized I'm not the only one. There's other people, and there's also other people that want to take care of you. There's also other people that want you to grow and want you to learn and also want to help other people. They don't want you to just stay silent and, oh, well, someone else will figure it out. No, because what happens when you're in the hospital because no one spoke for you? I was this close to literally not having a good time, respectfully, because I didn't know that it could get this bad. I didn't know that you could be in an environment that encouraged you so badly to hurt yourself just to look good on game day. I did not know that that was normal. I didn't know the signs. I didn't know anything. And I wish I would have had a bigger sister or any type of resources, any type of person talking about this so that I could have saved myself, because I did not know until I was laying on the floor because I could not eat. I had not ate, and I literally physically did not have the strength to get up because I couldn't feed myself. Again, we're going to get into some heavy stuff. We're also going to get into some funny stuff, some, good stuff, but I'm telling you, there's a lot here. And I want to speak to the people that are feeling like they are alone. And I want to show you that, hey, this is what's going on with you. I could be wrong, but this is probably what you're experiencing, and I've been there too. Also, you have a way out. There is light at the end of the tunnel. You're not crazy. There is healing on the other end, and here are the tools that helped me, and maybe they can help you. And also some resources of what that can help you, but you're not alone. And I want to give you those stories that are going to inspire you and help you, and maybe help you acknowledge some things that are happening. Because as I've grown up, I've realized a lot of older adults are starting to talk about things way, way older. And those are like on old people podcasts. I wouldn't say old people podcasts, but I know as an athlete, sometimes you want to hear things that other athletes are going through that are at the same age that are, or in the spot that you want to be. You're not listening to the 50-year-olds who have already lived through everything, because we all know what they experience is completely different than what we're experiencing right now. And so I want to be that person that is finally stepping up and talking about the things that are so normal, that we are all going through, that we are all struggling with, that no one feels like they can talk about. No one feels like they can ask, hey, what the hell? Literally, what the hell? Hello? Like, is anyone else out there? I don't see any resources about this, and I have no idea how to help myself, no idea how to relate to anyone, and literally no idea what's going on with me. So hi, welcome. I'm Camille. Anyways, yeah. So you'll notice that I go from like point A to C to D, blah, 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 all over the place, but I promise it's going to connect with one another. With that being said, we're here. Let's get into, I guess, a little bit about my testimony and kind of, I guess, what the point of this first podcast is about, and what we'll kind of go into next episode. But I came up with the beyond the game. I realized God was pushing me to start this podcast, that it was time. And I, was kind of praying about it. I was like, I don't even know what to speak about. You've given me so many different ideas. Like, I don't know what to do this. I do feel like you've been putting on my heart to interview all athletes, all former, present, like aspiring people that have gone through things, that are, walking through things, whatever it is, but that it's supposed to be male and female and all athletes from all areas, because he has blessed me with the availability and the experiences that I really am connected to anyone and everyone. I'm from a small town, and Kerrville, Texas, by the way. Hey, Johnny. Anyways, I'm a girl of a small town that I would say both of my small towns. I say both because I went to Harper, if you know Harper. I also went to Kerrville, TFND, and I feel like I am still the girl that gets overlooked. I was the girl that was talented in what she did, yet, nope, I bet you can't do that. I bet she's not going to do that. No one wants to be her friend. No one. The amount of stuff that I had to go through in high school, look at me now. And I don't mean that in a cocky version. I'm saying, look what happens to the underdog. Because I was so tired of being not seen. And also, I realize now, I guess people were threatened by me, but like, I just wanted to be there. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed, like, and I say the game because we cheered for everything. I enjoyed what I did. And for some reason, people just had to start drama and everything, that I wasn't even included, that my 2 cents didn't matter. I was head captain after, not head captain, I was co-captain after being there only 1 year. And it was like my world just ended. That why be so threatened? That being to say, I went on, I am the only representative of Tyvee and Harper to ever, I don't want to say ever in the last 10 years be a UCA instructor. I literally coached for 5 years for the top organization in the world, straight from high school, the only person, granted, to then go win 3 collegiate national championships, to then go be a professional dancer. I am the only person to ever touch a professional floor. And yet I am still overlooked in the city that I live in. I am still overlooked from the high schools that I went to. Like, it just is crazy to me. And I have no idea where I was going with that point. But I don't say it in anger. I say it in the sense of, I mean, yeah, I'm upset about it, but not anymore of the I need to be heard and I need to be seen. But it just shows that, like, there are so many people feeling alone. And it wasn't until this point of me making this podcast that I realized, holy shit, you keep trying to achieve these goals so that people will look at you. You keep trying to achieve the highest that you can do just to make everyone else finally see you. Yet you're not even seeing yourself. Look at what you've done. I am 24 and I have worked for the top organizations in the world. I have represented one of the best NBA organizations in the world. I have traveled internationally with one of the top NBA organizations and teams in the world. I have people that I know that have been on TV shows, movie shows. I have worked under some of the top choreographers in the world. I have worked personally with some of the top USA coaches, USA members. Like, literally, the list goes on. And that has nothing to do with me. And when I say that, as like, it's not, I'm not giving glory to me. Glory is to God. I would not have done that without him. But it wasn't until he put this in my heart and was like, start freaking running. I have given you everything that you need, is when I realized it is no longer about everyone else. I have been trying to move up and up and up because everyone else, when I am literally only living for one, I should only be living for the approval of one, because look at where he has taken me. Because where I started, no one appreciated me. Where I am now, those people still do not appreciate me, still do not appreciate what I've accomplished, obviously. But look who does. He obviously does, where he trusts me enough to start this and share my story, but also create a platform where other individuals can come and speak their story, come and give their advice, inspire people, impact people, educate people. That's the biggest thing. Educate yourself, but other people as well. Because as athletes, we are one of the most like driven, I don't even know how to say that correctly. We are the money makers, okay, of this world. I truly believe that. Don't come for me because I'm not very smart when it comes to math or anything like that. But we're the money makers. Talk about the universities, professional teams, like school, like literally in high school, like I went to Tyvee, okay? People would literally go there just to play football. If you went and watched Johnny's little documentary, go watch it because he talked about it, and that's literally the truth. Like, people would pay if they had to, which I don't think they did, but to just be a part of that football team, like, because of that department and because of what that is. The money, like, because of them. So anyways, I'm saying we are literally driving people's bank accounts, yet we have no instruction. We have all the instruction that we need to be a better athlete, but what about be a better person? What about be a healthier person? What about being a happier person? Because they don't really care. They're like, you need to be faster. You need to be more in shape. You need to be more athletic. You need to be more this. You can always be more in the game. But what happens beyond the game? What happens after the game? What happens during the game when you are not yourself, when you are not healthy, when you are not happy, when you are not well? Where are those resources? And that is why I'm so inspirational. I am so inspired. I am so motivated to speak about this and to bring people on to speak about it, because it's time that the silence stops. And that's where I come in. Okay, we are at 25 minutes. We're going to do a little cheers. Okay. Okay, we're at 25 minutes. I'm going to give you a little, so that kind of rant is going to go into what next episode is going to be. Okay. I'm going to give you a little background of why I'm specifically launching this podcast right now, so that you kind of know where I'm at and why I'm doing this. And that's going to kind of lead into what next episode is going to be. So I have had the pleasure to be dancing for the best organization in the world, and NBA. I love them. Anyways, for legal reasons, I'm not going to speak teams. Again, you heard me go into that rant about being threatened. This organization I specifically talked to last year, and I got the approval. They're like, obviously, as long as you don't say anything bad. But I think just in case, because we are going to have a lot of different athletes on, I'm going to talk about a lot of different teams, and I don't really know what their regulations are. I obviously have nothing bad to say, specifically, I guess, especially about my team. I definitely don't have anything bad to say, but just in case, I'm going to go ahead and not specifically say the actual organization, just for the safety of them and the safety of me. But if you really want to know, go be nosy and go on my Instagram. You should be following me anyways, hashtag Yo Girl Camille. Okay. Anyways, so I, decided, and we're going to get into this next episode of why, but I have decided that I'm closing the door to my career right now, my dance career. I decided I'm going to just explore more of me and who I am without the name and the uniform attached to it. And it was really hard. What I have been walking through the last 2 months is the grieving process. And we're going to get into that next episode, because I've been learning through therapy that when you walk away from a season, or when you decide that you are done, whether you get hurt and you have to be done with your sport, or whether you're deciding to walk away, whether you're graduating, whatever it is, we go through a grieving process. And it is to the extreme that we're treating it like a divorce or a breakup, sometimes even a death. Like, our brains and our body does not know how to process the loss of a sport that we love, just the way that it doesn't know how to really process a breakup, a divorce, a death. And there's not enough resources out there to talk about this process. And that causes us to self-destruct a lot. So that is what I've been walking through. And over the last couple of weeks, I have really been applying, say, what I would do for a breakup, basically, with this breakup. And with that, the official door, I officially closed the door, which I like to say, instead of it closed on me, because I'm making the decision to start something new. I'm making the decision to go ahead and close this door of my life in this chapter, so that I can open another door, which doors have already been opening. It has been amazing. So I decided the official audition form closed last night, and I decided today marks a new chapter for me, because even though I knew I wasn't going to do it, the fact that it was open was still like, I don't want to officially announce it. Like, I didn't even officially post it on my Instagram until the form closed. So, yeah, I decided we're going to step into something new. We're going to take what we have and take what we learn, and we're going to step into something new. And I'm going to make that happen the day that my life changes, basically. Like, this is a new chapter. I am learning who I am, what I like to do, who I'm going to be, what I want to do. And I'm getting to know myself. And I think that this involves what we're doing, having a conversation, having a relationship with you guys, educating you guys, impacting you guys, because I know that I have a lot of experiences and a lot of things that I had to walk through that I want to share, because one, I don't want to leave it in the dark, and two, I want to be that resource and that inspiration, or be able to give the tools that I wish I would have had for anyone that walks through whatever I walked through. And that's why I'm also bringing more people in, because I know that I haven't walked through everything, but they might have. And I want them to be able to help you in any way that you need help, or maybe you just want to have a conversation. I also love sports. I don't understand a lot, but I'm the girl that, like, my family used to make fun of me because I obviously only dated athletes, which is funny because I'm not dating an athlete anymore. He was an athlete, actually. So technically, but my parents were like, and my family was like, you're not actually into football. You're not actually into basketball. You're not actually, like, you're just only watching it because they're playing, or you're only watching it because they're into it. But I'm like, I don't think you'll understand. Like, I actually enjoy watching. Like, why do you think that I have been cheering and dancing for 10 years now? It's because I enjoy it. Like, I get to be front row or on the field, on the court with, like, everyone else, like, this is so cool. And so I love talking. Like, if I'm in a group and they're just talking about their practice or their group, I'm like, dude, I don't understand, but I am so in here. Like, I am so in for this. And I think there's a lot of relatable parts as well, because again, we are athletes as cheerleaders and dancers. Don't come for me. I will take you through one of our practices and one of our workouts, and then you can talk your shit. Anyways, so yeah, like, this is supposed to be fun. We're all hanging out, we're all talking. All of us are on different levels. I love getting to do that. Like, when we went to Brazil, we had like 4 different sports groups there, and we were all just like, we all related. We all did different things. We all, like, had different, what's it called, talents and whatever, but we all related on the same level. We were all kind of working in the same around organization. We all had the same experiences. What I love about being a cheer coach, or even I guess a dance, but being a part of an organization like that, like varsity, everyone, like, you instantly meet someone and you guys are just instantly family. Like, I don't have to know anything about you. We know someone together. We have probably worked somewhere together. We understand the same thing. You might be for like USA and I'm UCA, or like NCA, or whatever it is. But like, we're all going to, I'm sorry, if you're not cheer or dance, you probably don't know what I'm talking about, but probably the same thing, like your football groups and things like that, like, you instantly just connect. I remember this guy that I had a friend, well, not really a friend. Anyways, I remember him telling me, he was like, if I ever had a guy, like, if I had a job, I had a business, and he came and applied, and I didn't know anything about him besides the fact that he specifically said the college. I'm not going to say the college, but he specifically said blank's football team, then I would instantly hire him, because he went through hell camp or whatever, hell week, whatever it was. And he was like, if some guy, some man, some individual can go through what we went through, I know that he has what it takes to be determined and to be motivated and to be, what's it called, disciplined enough to do the job that I'm asking of him. And that has nothing to do with really what I was saying. But what I was meaning is, like, same thing. Like, you instantly know someone and you know that they are a part of some organization or something that you have also been through. There's like an instant connection. And that's what I love about it. I just love having conversations. I love being in that environment. I love getting to connect in that way. I'm like, we might have never worked together. I probably don't know anything you're doing. I don't know what sport or organization, but we relate in some way because we've done the same thing, went through the same thing, or like are in the same networks. And so that is what Beyond the Game is all about, is just getting to know who you are beyond the game, and also just take the, like, superficial stuff out of it, and, like, let's just talk. Let's just have some big sis, big bro type vibe, like, open a drink and let's get to know each other, and let's get to talk experiences that we never got to talk about. Let's get to relate and talk experiences that, like, maybe you only felt like you could talk to your teammate about, but like, oh shit, you went through the same thing. No way, you also did that. Oh my God, I wish I would have done this. Like, dang, if I would have known that, I probably wouldn't have gotten drunk that night. Like things that, like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. So I'm really excited. I don't want to niche this down too much. But I'm excited. I'm so excited to get into it. Expect for next episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the grieving process and what that looks like, recognizing it and knowing how to kind of combat that and kind of go with that and to not push it off. Just saying. And I'm going to give y'all some tools on what I've been doing and then what I would recommend on kind of what to implement in your life to kind of help you walk through this new season and also the grieving season. I, on my Instagram story, kind of spoke about it. I'm doing a series on it as well. And I asked if anyone had anything that they wanted me to cover that had to do with like ways that I fill in the blank, to stay happy and healthy post season. So I'm going to talk about fueling your body, staying active, how to find peace, how to find joy, just kind of the things that I've been doing that has really worked, and then things that I've been kind of learning from other professionals. And we're just going to kind of get all into that, get into the nitty gritty. And then in 2 weeks, I have my best friend, homegirl, has literally traveled the world for USA. She's an athlete in all aspects. She's done so much, and I'm so excited for you guys to hear from her. If any of this resonated with you and you're like, put me on this freaking podcast, I have some shit to talk about, or I have some stuff that I wish I would have known when I was younger, or I was going through boot camp, or I was going through college or professional or whatever it is, DM me or email me and let's get you on here. Or maybe you thought of someone that was like, oh my goodness, I was just talking to them about it, they need to be on this. Whatever it is, DM me, email me, and let's get it started. My Instagram is YoGirlCamille, also on TikTok. It's YoGurlCamille. Again, YoGirlCamille. And I am so excited to get this going. I know this was like all over the place. I know I talked a lot. I know probably didn't give as much insight, but I promise you I'm going to be a little bit more stricter and to the book the next couple episodes. It is kind of late. And yeah, I'm just really excited. If you have any feedback, guys, please help a girl out. I am running this show literally by myself and I have no idea what I'm doing. But that's the beautiful part, is we're going to learn together. And I don't have a slogan for the out, but I love you guys, and bye.